It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm hanging in there.
I don't know what day it is. December something.
4th.
Thank you.
Yes.
December 4th.
Tuesday.
2012. Steve Poundstone with Mystery Mark in another episode of Dart Talk.
Yes, it is.
Glad you made it.
I'm glad to be here, let me tell you.
We're starting early tonight. Our apologies if you didn't get the memo, but...
big night of darts for you.
Well...
so to speak.
Yeah, the team league.
Yeah.
City championship is tonight, and I've been ordered to show up on time, which I won't.
But they won without you last week. Why do they need you this week?
That's a good question. I mean, they won without me all season, so I only played a couple of times. The one Tuesday we didn't have the show, and then I snuck out after the show a couple of times, and played like the second half of the match. So, well, it should be interesting. A lot of pride on the line. No money.
Right. That's what League Darts is all about, pride.
Well, yeah, you're playing for plaques, and yes, I've won another one.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So,
do you keep them?
No. I don't think I've gotten one for the last 2 or 3 years. I didn't even get one for the last singles league I won.
They don't bother making them for you because they know you're not going to keep them?
No, in the singles league, I mean, at one point, the guy's like, well, nobody from the board's coming, so I'll just leave the plaque under the bar and tell the bartender who won.
Okay.
So that's kind of a buzzkill.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of buzzkills, some terrible news.
Some bad news.
Just terrible news. Thoughts and condolences and prayers to Jason Watt, who's, in the chat room usually.
Yes, he is.
For the show, he had a family member pass away suddenly on, I think, Monday or something. So it's just sad. And then a couple of the old-timers that I never got to meet, but everyone speaks extremely highly of. Roger Herbert from New York City, who was one of the, kind of the guys behind, League Darts in New York for decades. And Carol Merriman, who I believe was living in Indiana. And I got a little note to pass along. A fierce competitor and inspiration to women dart players. Carol Merriman passed away Monday the 25th. She beat most she played, including the men. The family is asking for donations to cover funeral costs, as Carol did not have insurance. Donations can be made to the Hampton Gentry Funeral Home in Plainfield, Indiana, 317-839-6573. Reference Carol Merriman, care of Sheila Wise. I'll post that on our Facebook page. I got that last week and getting kind of falling behind on some of these messages people are leaving me. So, thoughts and prayers to Roger's family and Carol's family and, of course, Jason and his family.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Getting tired of this stuff.
I know. It seems
just
to be
getting sick of it. It's
happening too many times.
Way too many times. Anyway, we got a big show. We are going to announce the Dart Talk 2012 Newcomer of the Year.
Newcomer of the Year.
And so let me flash a picture. We have the nominees.
The nominees.
We announced them last week. Tyler Mirs from
Sarasota.
Thank you.
You just said it. She just said it to open the show.
I should really listen. Listening is a skill.
Yeah.
Also, TJ Dearmis, Anthony DeArmas from the Bronx in New York City, and Levi Remick from Lowell, Massachusetts, I believe. We have interviews with all three, and we'll announce the winner after the interviews.
Sometime during the show.
Yeah, sometime. Well, I mean, yeah.
If we get to it.
Yeah, well, no, we're going to make that a priority. We have to do that because we have to do Outstanding Player next week.
Right.
So, no need for anybody to lobby. I've got a couple of votes out, but for outstanding player, I think we're good. And thanks everybody for the nominations on Newcomer of the Year.
Do we get any Jackwagon nominations?
Well, we got a lot.
Do we?
Oh, we're gonna.
Good.
The Jackwagon. The last show of the year is probably going to be the funniest one we do because we're going to do something without. There's too many to ignore.
We're gonna have to read some of them.
Well, we'll have to leave the names out,
of course,
or change the names for
to protect the.
There'd be an interesting game. Okay, here's an incident. Name the player that's involved. Or name the players that are involved. Yeah. That'd be a nice
win
little
a set of flights.
Match them up A through Z, and then see who gets the most right. Yeah, that'd be pretty sure that'd be the end of anyone coming on the show.
Why we wouldn't write the stories. It's our fellow darters that are bringing this up, not us.
Well,
we're just reporting it.
Yeah, but it reminds me of because we did the tribute to Sid Waddell, and I was thinking back to all the sports journalists that I read when I was a kid and stuff. I had a paper out, and I'd roll the paper, and I'd have one open, and I'd read the sports page while I was rolling, right? And sports writing has changed. Media's changed,
of course.
But back in the day, they traveled with the team, and it was pretty much what happens on the train stays on the train, and what happens in the hotel stays in the hotel, and so there were a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff didn't get reported.
Yeah,
and so for me, I pretty much just want to cover darts, but some of this stuff is priceless.
You can't help it.
I mean, you can't really.
We have to report it. Is basically what you're saying.
I'm thinking we should. Anyway, so real quick, I tried the online darts thing. Last night.
Oh, did you?
Oh, it was a nightmare.
Why is that?
Well, because Skype kept cutting out. So, I had to rig a camera on the tripod, point it at the board, Skype this guy, install some software that was lagging, and then my wireless keyboard was lagging, and then everything was and I'm just standing there like, what's the etiquette here? Do I wait for you to walk, or am I supposed to look and see if you shot what you shot?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the monitor was too far away, and I'm like, this is just palsyated. There's no way I can function like this. So I'll have to see if there's a simpler setup I can use, because it.
Would you give it another shot?
Well, see, I was here last
night
till midnight trying to do this, trying to see how doable it is, and if you're not computer literate, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah,
and even if. The guy's like, well, do you know how to open up a port on your router? And I'm like, well, yeah. And then I'm thinking, yeah, most people don't.
Right.
They just plug
That's probably
it in.
true.
If it doesn't work, they unplug it and plug it back in, right? So I don't know. We'll have to. But I'm gonna check out this online darts thing, because the thing.
Did you get to play enough, or did it just cut off too many times?
It kept interrupting the match, so we'd stop, and I'd have to Skype them back, and then close this, and it's just
so are you live on Skype, and you guys are talking?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've got Skype going through the speaker, and then the software actually, when you win a game, it says Game Shot Raymond van Barneveld, which, somebody should replace that sound file. But no, it was interesting. I mean, I'm here all alone, and all of a sudden I'm playing some dude in darts. That was kind of surreal.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we'll report on that again and see kind of how it is.
In your next venture?
Well, yeah, we'll update everybody on this online thing, because in theory, it's promising.
Yeah.
In theory, it should be like a pretty cool way to get games in, as opposed to just practicing by yourself. Right?
Sure.
That's the theory. And, they have an online league and stuff, and you can...
Do you feel it can be as competitive as standing next to the guy, though? Or do you think you'll be going through the motions and...
I don't know. I only played 7 legs or something like that. So I don't know if we'll have to get some of the guys on to talk about it and get their take on it, because I can't really give an informed opinion having done it. I spent most of my time trying to rig the lights and all this other stuff. So we'll have to see how that goes. Let's start with an interview real quick.
Do we do a disclaimer before the interview, or do we?
I should just put that right in with the opening music.
Yeah, probably.
Because I forget it half the time. All right, here's Melissa.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect the thoughts or opinions of the hosts, our sponsors, any official Dart sanctioning organization, and post hoc ergo propter hoc, any and all spelunkers, debunkers, raconteurs, roustabouts, technocrats, hepcats, cat ladies, Lady Gaga, the Four Seasons, the Three Stooges, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, hipsters, kibitzers, hellions, the fickle finger of fate, or Tom Waits.
Covers everyone.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's start with nominee number one. I do slight nightmare, taping this interview, but I got a chance to chat a lot with Anthony TJ Dearmis.
Yeah.
And TJ stands for Tony Jr. because his dad's name is Anthony. A lot of Anthonys around. So let's nominee number one is TJ Dearmis from the Bronx in New York City. Let's hear what TJ has to say if I can find it here.
Okay, live on Skype, we have another finalist for Dart Talk's Newcomer of the Year, Anthony TJ Dearmis from the Bronx in New York City. How are you, TJ?
I'm good, Steve. How you doing?
Good. Sorry for the technical glitches. This is, our fourth time now, trying to get this
it's
interview?
Our fourth time. It's all right. We're going to get it good this time.
So for the people that don't know you, tell everybody about yourself. You're from New York City?
Yep, I'm from New York City. Born and raised, picked up darts first time. I was 14 maybe. I wasn't really serious until about two and a half years ago, and now I can't stop.
Well, I know you have a lot of good players and a lot of action in New York City. Do you come from a dart playing family?
No, my father used to play, not so serious. My brothers play, not so serious. So I'm pretty much the most serious in my family about darts. So,
how often do you get out and play every week?
Well, I'm pretty much every night. It's a lot, but yeah, I play Mondays in the city. There's a big team league. Monday, Tuesdays is team league. Wednesdays I play in the PDSL singles league. And then Thursday's my night off, and Friday and Saturday play in the local Lux. So pretty much every night.
Well, I can tell that you're enthusiastic about it. 5 nights a week. That seems like a lot for an old guy like me. Do you have a board up at home? Do you practice at home?
Yeah, I have a board up at home. I don't practice as much anymore, really, because I don't have the time because I'm out every night playing. But if I'm not playing, when in between seasons, I try to practice a lot because that's when I really start to lose it a little bit when I'm not playing every night. So yeah, I try to practice. I try to practice my doubles when I can. That's my big problem, my doubles. So got to start practicing those a little bit more.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier offline about how you score for show and doubles for dough. And since I picked you to win the DPNY final in a couple of weeks, I sure hope you can hit some doubles.
Yeah, I heard you picked me, and that's for the next couple of weeks. That's all I'm going to practice is doubles. So maybe we could make you pick the right one out of the 16. Hopefully, it's going to be tough, but there's a bunch. Everybody there. No one there is an easy win. Never in the events Anthony runs is there an easy win. So especially in the finals, it's going to be tough, but we'll try.
It did
do
look
our best.
Yeah, it did look like a pretty tough field. This is the first year you've hit the circuit. You went to the NWDS in Dayton. You were at the PDC in Chicago. You played the WDF event in Stanford. The DPNY and the PSDL in New York are long format 501 leagues. Do you think that's really helping you when you go out on the road?
Absolutely. Those two, well, the DPNY and the PDSL combined, I don't think there are two better events or a league and an event to play in than those two, because the long format, and especially in the area I'm in, everyone is competitive. There's, I think, the best competition in the country over here. So from what I see, at least, so there's, for me, that's the best thing. There's nothing better than that. No practicing at home, no anything is gonna. I mean, practicing at home helps, but this is the big thing, what helps the most.
There's a lot of guys talking about playing online darts as being like a substitute for just like hitting the board by yourself. Have you ever thought about doing that?
I haven't. I mean, I played. I think it was in Dayton. I was playing with the soft tip board, like the online soft tip. I thought that was pretty cool, but I've never really thought of play before that. No, I never thought of playing online, something like that. But I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Do you play a lot of soft tip?
No, not the first time I picked up soft tip darts was actually maybe even in Atlantic City. I think I threw on the soft tip board they had there. I don't think I even ever played soft tip before that. Maybe once or twice, but no, not much soft tip.
Do you have a lot of soft tip boards in New York City, or is it mostly steel?
It's mostly steel. I don't even. I know Larry Watson and Percy's and Paul Burns have a that's the only one really that I know of in the city of soft tip. No, everything is steel around the city.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about next year. Have you made any plans, like tournament wise, for what you'll be playing next year?
Well, I definitely want to go to the Vegas New World Dart Series because I thought that was a great event in Dayton. So that's pretty much all I know. And then the local events like Stanford and the 2 Long Island events I definitely go to. But I'm going to try and go to most of, if not all, of the PDC events next year. That was fun. I had fun in that. And I don't know, maybe some more East Coast stuff, some more traveling. Traveling gets you experience, and I think that's what I need is a little bit more experience.
Awesome. Well, I hope you can check in with us from time to time and let us know how you're doing and what's going on out there in the big world of steel on the East Coast.
Absolutely, I will, and I'm definitely going to check in with you after the DPNY finals to let you know how well I did. Hopefully, we do well.
Well, I'll tell you what. Make sure you stick around. If you don't make the final, stick around and you can call in and kind of give us a report on the event.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. I will.
All right. Thanks, TJ. Great talking to you, and then all the best.
Steve, thank you very much. Take care.
All right.
Okay, that was TJ Dearmis from the Bronx. What'd you think?
Good interview. That's an awful lot of darts. 5 days a week.
Can you imagine him keeping that up?
No, I can't.
Even the first year I played, I tried to play 3 league nights in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And halfway through the season, it was also summer. I was like, there's no way I can do this. This is just... I just walked in and I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
This is
More power to him. I couldn't do it. That's ridiculous. That's just a...
He's a heck of a player.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, you saw him play in Chicago.
Yeah, I was impressed. I thought he was really good. So obviously it's paying off for him.
Well, he's...
and talk about putting some pressure on him. Why didn't you?
Yeah. Why don't I just, get a paintbrush and just paint a huge target on his back? Somebody, right after the show, posted it on Facebook. Hey, Steve picked TJ to win. So, so
everybody in New York knows it.
Apologies to Anthony. He's... I might have made things a little harder for him, but those guys are pretty competitive. I don't think it's really going to matter.
No.
As far as that goes. All right, let's take our first break, and we'll be right back. We're going to keep the breaks real short. This is Dart Talk with Mystery Mark and Steve Ponciello.
One, two, three, four.
Okay, and we're back for the second quarter.
Second quarter.
Brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. We sort of forgot that.
Yeah, it happens from time to time. We were so interested in getting into the interviews.
Well, it's this rush thing at the end. But, yeah, I do want to get to the interviews because I think, people will be very interested in hearing what these I'm going to call them kids, but because then I feel older than my 28. But
of course.
They're kids.
Right.
I mean,
1,
especially
2, 3, 4.
And you are older than your 28, whether you want to admit it or not.
There's really no need to
nice
get
hat, by the way.
on stuff like that. Yeah, I was going to say our hats are kind of matching.
Yeah.
We got to get matching shirts. We're going to get like some uniforms for the show. I'm working on that. I'm waiting to hear back from somebody, but I think that'd be like awesome. And then we can wear them at tournaments and stuff. Anyway,
sounds like a plan.
We'll get to the PDC and the soft tip stuff. You want to run another interview here? Let me set this up. We'll do Tyler Mirs next.
All right.
Now you interviewed Tyler. What did you think?
I liked her. I thought she was sounded like a very confident 17-year-old to me.
She sure plays confident.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched her play because she was playing with some people I knew, and I was, chatting with her dad a little bit at the bullshooter in Chicago, and I was like, wow, 17?
Yeah.
If she stays with it, can you imagine what she's going to be like in 10 years? With 10 years of tournament experience? I mean, that's a scary thought. Anyway, let's hear from Tyler Mirs, the second nominee for Dart Talk's Newcomer of the Year.
All right, we are here talking live with Tyler Mirs, one of the finalists for Newcomer of the Year. Welcome to Dart Talk, Tyler. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
So, where do you live?
I live in Sarasota, Florida.
And how old are you?
I'm 17 years old.
17. And how long have you been playing the game of darts?
I'd say since I was about 9 or 10. Both of my parents play, so they got me into it. And then I started playing with them at home. And then they would always go to blind draws on Friday nights. And I always wanted to go. So eventually my dad took me with them, and so nobody would be upset if they got me as a partner because I wasn't that good. He would just tell them to give me him as a partner, and after a few times of going, I started just actually being in the blind draw and get whoever, because people were getting upset at the fact that I had him every week and we would do really well.
It's not much of a blind draw when you manipulate the teams.
Well,
right. That's good, though. I think that's good. So then, then everybody was comfortable with you being there finally, and nobody minded you being a partner of theirs.
Yeah, and that's what he really just wanted to make sure, that everyone was okay with me being there, and if they got me as a partner, that they would be okay with it.
Were you and your dad winning when you first started going?
Not the first few times, but after a couple of times when I got settled in and I started getting to know everyone, we did.
Okay, and then they got upset because then now you and your dad are winning?
Yeah, so they finally just had me get whoever.
What how'd you get so good in our minds? Do you practice a lot? Or is it tournaments that you play in?
I think it's just the tournaments, because I don't really practice. I play darts 2 or 3 times a week for league, and then just play tournaments, really.
Where are your league events? Are they in a bar where they allow a 17-year-old in there?
Yeah.
Oh, how convenient. What are there any players that you admire in the darting community?
My parents and Paula and Shay.
And I hear that you have a sister as well that is pretty good at darts.
I don't have a sister.
What? Our information is wrong. All right. Disregard that question then. I have been fed bad information. Bad intel.
Is Kelly your mother?
Yes.
Okay, that was my bad.
Okay. So your mom is good.
Yeah.
As you've already stated. Do you have any thoughts on about women and women players, and do you think they get the respect that they deserve?
I think they do.
Would your mom say the same thing?
I think so.
Who's the best player in your family?
Oh, I don't know. I can't answer that.
No. Oh, which do you like better? Do you like league better, or do you like tournaments?
I like tournaments better.
And is there a reason?
Just because you get better competition, and in league you play like the same people over and over.
Right. How many tournaments do you play in a year?
I want to say like about at least one tournament a month.
When you play the same guys in league all the time, do you get tired of beating the same people over and over?
Yeah.
Do they get tired of losing to you?
Yes.
Do you walk into a room and they're like, "Oh, great, here's Tyler"?
Sometimes.
Oh, that's a good feeling.
No, I guess.
So, Tyler, what would be your best memory of the year in darts, whether it be a tournament or something like that?
When I went to Chicago for the bull shooter for soft tip, and I won ladies doubles A division and getting first in one of the triples.
Who was your partner?
For ladies doubles, it was Michelle Goss, and triples I played with Dave Cameron and Robert Ham.
What did you think of Robert?
Well, I've known him for a couple of years, 'cause I met him in a dirt tournament one year, a few years back, and so it was fun playing with him.
Do you think he looks like Jake from 2.5 Men?
I never even thought about that.
No?
Well, now that you say that, I guess, but
See, now you're going to think about that every time you see him.
probably.
Are you going to college?
I think so.
Do you think you'll be going to tournaments while you're in college on weekends?
I honestly don't know. I'm going to try if I do, but I don't know.
Not sure if you'd have the time.
Yeah.
Well, she can go to college and clean up against all the guys that think they're good at darts. Do you play any other sports?
No. I mainly just go to school and play darts.
What kind of future plans do you have for darts?
Just to keep playing and get better and just be the best that I can be.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, nice interview.
Yeah, she doesn't have a sister. Great.
Yeah,
That was funny.
I don't know what's wrong with me. It's insane.
She should go to college, and she'll just be a ringer.
She could just kind
clean
of,
up.
She could be like the Woody Harrelson character in White Men Can't Jump.
Right.
Whereas, well, I'll take the girl.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Right.
And
She'll just be sitting over there,
bat her eyes, and like,
yeah.
okay,
I'll pick
what
anybody
do I do?
in the bar. I'll pick anybody here, and we'll beat you at darts. And she'll just be the shy girl over there in the corner. Pick her.
I don't know. Did we have the thing with the blind draw in there? How she used to play the blind draw just with her dad until they started winning, and everybody was like,
Yeah,
no,
now they wanted to. Then they wanted to play with her.
This.
Right.
I like that story. So there's one thing that she has in common with TJ, aside from being young.
Right.
You know, TJ's just turned 21, and she's what, 17?
17, yeah.
Is how dedicated they are.
Yeah.
And how much board time they're getting, right? Which. Try that
Would
at home.
speak for why they're very good.
Yeah. So, where are we? All right, let's take our second break. It'll be a real fast one, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, and we are back for the second half, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Yeah, that was a nice interview. Now, our third nominee is Levi Remick, who I actually thought was like 21 or 22. Turns out he's older than that.
Okay.
Which I was shocked by. But here's another person who kind of from out of nowhere, just starts going to tournaments, further away from where he lives and, gets results.
Yeah.
And
gets a name out there.
Well, yeah. I mean, the one thing about Tyler, see, Tyler's got, parents that play.
Right.
But, TJ, and you'll hear Levi talk about it, they're surrounded by good players. And by playing them, it can't help but
can't
improve
hurt.
your game, right?
Yeah.
And that was the thing with the online darts. I'm like, well, if you're somebody, who doesn't have anybody locally that can push you, there's potentially a way to,
if you can get
play
it to
some
work.
good players. We'll get the IT department on it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen
hear from
to
Levi.
Mr. Levi Remick and see, where is it? There it is. Okay, let's hear Levi. All right, on the Skype phone from Lowell, Massachusetts, we have Levi Remick here, one of the finalists for the Dart Talk Newcomer of the Year. How are you today, Levi?
Hi, Steve. I'm doing pretty well.
All right, for the listeners that maybe don't know you, tell us how you got started in the sport of darts.
I started at a young age. I come from a family that plays darts. A lot of people know my Uncle Glenn, and my father played quite a bit of darts, and because of those two, my mother, my grandparents, all my brothers, my cousins, we all sort of played. So I grew up playing, but I never really played organized darts until I moved to Lowell. That was when I was 28.
When you were 28, and how old are you now?
I'm 31.
So you've been playing organized darts for 3 years.
Yep.
Are you playing a lot of the local league there, the Minuteman League?
Yep. I play in 3 different leagues right now: a Monday night league, a Tuesday night league, and a Wednesday night league.
Wow.
And when Tom Sawyer has his singles league, I end up trying to play in that too.
So you're playing 4 nights a week in league?
Well, Tom's league is on Monday night, so I would alternate between his singles league and another league, if they're both going on at the same time. So it's really just 3 nights.
So you've had some success on the tournament circuit this year. Is this the first year that you really made an effort to get out on the road and play the circuit?
Yeah, last year I played in a couple of the big ones that were nearby, but this year I at the beginning of the year I made it a choice to try and get out to as many of the big ones as I could. So it's really my first year.
Well, how would you characterize 2012 for you from a tournament standpoint?
I feel like it's been pretty successful. I know I definitely have to work on a few things, trying to get a little more consistent. I kind of end up doing better in some of the doubles events, and I feel like I don't know if I just play better in those or maybe have some better luck, but I think it's been pretty successful.
Well, I know that the biggest tournament of the year this year, or one of the biggest, was Virginia Beach, and I saw you play the final there against Brandon Rogers, and from what I heard, you played pretty good all day.
I did. I felt I played real well all day until the finals. I had a couple tough matches that I was able to squeak by, especially top 8 and top 4. Top 4 I played Shaggy, and that was probably one of my tougher matches. He played really well, but I did not bring the same game into the finals, and I was a little disappointed with that.
Well, I think everybody has the same problem when it comes to tournaments, is keeping it going from match to match to match to match. I know you're pals with Dave Walsh. He said something on an earlier show about what he admired most about guys like Darren Young were that they could keep their focus through an entire event. Have you noticed that being one of the challenges of playing a lot of tournaments?
Sometimes I feel like, in terms of being consistent, I think I need to go into every match with the same exact mindset, no matter if I'm playing somebody I know, somebody I don't know, if it's the first match of the event or if it's the finals. That's one of the things that I think I have to work on. But it's clear some of the other folks that have been playing for a while, like Darren or Tom and those guys, that they're definitely able to do that.
So, Levi, I'm curious, because you're new to the tournament circuit, what would you consider to be, your greatest strength as a player?
My greatest strength? I think my attitude helps me quite a bit. I like to have a good time while I'm at these tournaments, and winning adds quite a bit to that. But at the same time, when I lose, I can get over it pretty quickly, and I think that helps me in a number of aspects. And I really, really enjoy playing. I play because I love it, and I think that helps me where some other people may not enjoy it quite as much.
Well, your enthusiasm is touching. I don't know. I have a hard time when you start playing, week in and week out. My enthusiasm tends to kind of go up and down. You haven't experienced that, though, I guess.
Not really. As we touched on before, I play a number of nights a week. If I'm not at a major tournament, there's many local ones that I try to find, and even if that's not going on, sometimes when I come home and I visit with my brothers and stuff, we end up going out and playing darts. So it hasn't hit me yet, and I hope that it doesn't.
Well, me too. I enjoy watching you play. You can weigh in on a couple of things. We're going to be announcing in the next couple of weeks the Player of the Year and the Most Outstanding Player. The Player of the Year pretty much goes on singles results, but the Most Outstanding Player also includes things like doubles and triples and mixed, and also how you represent the sport. You want to weigh in? You got any nominations for us as far as Most Outstanding Player?
You see a lot of the big names up there time and time again. Larry, Darren, Tom. All three of those guys kind of stand out in my mind for both. Darren Young has, he has a pretty good record up there, I'm sure. And one of the things I like about him is he seems to always have a smile and a good attitude towards the sport and towards people that come up to him. And just want to talk to him or get pointers, and it seems like he always has a good time at these tournaments. And I think that's what a number of us are trying to do is, just go out, have a good time, play well, and support the sport.
Okay, well, 2012 is over, and we're all starting to make plans for 2013. What kind of plans have you made for next year so far?
I've made a bunch, and they've changed recently. So I think I'm going to, trying to make an effort to get out there to as many of the major tournaments I can. But hopefully it'll be a lot like this year where I can get out to a whole bunch of these and hopefully have some success.
Well, Levi, congratulations on being a finalist for Newcomer of the Year. And, of course, me and Mark wish you the best next year, except, when you're playing me.
Thank you, Steve.
We'll see you very shortly. Safe travels.
All right, thanks. Bye, Steve.
Okay, that was Levi Remick.
Yep.
Skype started to bail on us there at the end of the interview.
Of course it did.
I'm not a good enough audio editor to clean it up completely, but it was interesting, because I remember somebody giving me a warning about him.
What kind of warning?
Like, you watch out for this kid. He's playing really good. He's playing all the time.
Yeah.
He's an up-and-comer, the next big thing, whatever. And I don't know. It's kind of nice. And I think this year we have three really good nominees that, are different in a lot of ways. Levi's got a little more experience. TJ is like awesomely dedicated.
Yeah.
I don't know. Darts in Florida seems really strong. It just seems like the Florida people don't travel as much as some of the other people, maybe because, it's
because there's enough
harder
people
to get
play.
to. Could be that too. I mean, they have way more tournaments in Florida than we have in Illinois.
Right.
And then Tyler's also, just shows up and plays soft tip and wins. So the one thing I want to talk about that Levi said that I thought was, brilliant, really, was when, I asked him what his greatest strength
attitude
was. Yeah, I thought he was going to say something like, oh, it's my scoring or my finishing or something. He's like, no, it's my attitude. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, that's a great answer, because your attitude can affect everything.
Sure.
It can affect the darts in your hand, the darts you're about to throw. It can affect the whole match. I mean, you see how guys
There's
get
so
in
much of the game is
and,
mental, so I mean,
exactly.
You got to keep it, keep an even keel.
Yeah, and he's talking about how he gets over losses easily and stuff like that. And,
right. Well, that's always good if you can do that.
That is not a trick that I've mastered, especially when you travel to some of these big tournaments and you underperform.
Yeah.
That's when I really start kicking myself, and I kick myself for days.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's really not a pretty sight.
No, that's definitely a good trait to have if you can have a short memory. You definitely need that.
Yeah, like closers.
Yeah.
Right? You're supposed to just, forget that one
Can't
and
win
go
them
on
all.
to the next one.
Just move on.
And it's funny, if you look at some of the top players, like hopefully we'll get Sawyer and Butler and Darren Young and the other women on next week. If that's 6 people. I mean, I don't know how many people we'll be able to fit on, but if you watch them, any of those guys play, if they throw a bad dart here or there,
you couldn't tell.
They don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's
just they'll hit the next 2.
Right.
And I always attributed that to confidence, but your attitude, I think, can really help you in a situation like that.
I agree.
Right? That's why I like talking to Levi. So we'll do our last break of the show, and then we'll come back and we will announce the winner. Although, to be honest, they're all winners.
Yes.
I mean, we have to name somebody because that's officially our tradition.
Somebody's got to win the award.
Well,
but that doesn't mean everybody's not worthy.
They're
all worthy.
Oh, I think they're more than worthy.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we can at least, spend some time with them and get them some attention. I know Tyler signed with Cosmo.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, which I thought, for a 17-year-old, I mean, what are there, 2 or 3 17-year-olds that get sponsorship like that? So I guess we should give her an atta-girl for that.
Yeah.
But, okay, we'll take our last break, and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Colin Cosell here for the New World Darts Series. Now, if you were with us in Dayton, then you already know what an amazing experience we had. Incredible matches, stiff competition, and some of the best darts in North America. However, if you weren't there, then you have every right to be jealous. But don't worry, the New World Darts Series is coming back, April 5th through 7th at the Tuscany Suites and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. This means you've got some time to sharpen your skills and prepare to face off against some of the best shots in North America. And with over $31,000 to be won, not to mention a brand new car, not to mention the fact that it's frickin' Vegas, don't waste any anytime. Space is limited, so register and make your travel plans right now. I'll be back with updates as the event draws near, but until then, I look forward to seeing you at the New World Darts Series' second major event at the Tuscany Suites and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, April 5th through 7th. Get there.
One, two, three, four.
Okay, we're back for the fourth
Final
quarter.
The final quarter of today's show.
Brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. I don't know what the deal is with this broadcasting software now.
It's just another thing to make you go crazy. To just gnaw at you.
I always used to say that change is good. I always used to be somebody who advocated change, and not change for the sake of change, but let's constantly improve whatever we're doing. I mean, that's kind of what makes a dart player. Is the like what got me hooked on playing darts wasn't really necessarily winning and losing. It was the process of improving, and where every match and every tournament would show me where I was at.
Yeah.
In the timeline of my improvement. And that was the thing that really hooked me. But, they're changing software and not even telling you, oh, by the way, what you did last week, now
doesn't
you can't
work.
do unless you send us money, is like, got to look into alternatives. I don't know. What are we talking about now?
We're going to announce the winner of our newcomer of the year.
Yeah, and
heard all the interviews from him.
They're all worthy, but I asked about 30 people.
Okay.
And I got basically, these were the only names that were mentioned as far as
for nominees.
They're like, right, because I didn't give them nominees. I just blanket question: who do you think newcomer of the year should be? And among the men, everybody that wasn't from New York said
right.
Levi Remick.
Right.
And if you look at like the the rankings, like the ADO rankings and the NAPTA rankings, he's up there pretty high. I think last I looked, he was 10th in the ADO, and he's not going to every single tournament. So I think he had a fabulous year. So congratulations to Levi. He's the official newcomer of the year for 2012, and he wanted to amend
we need an applause.
I gotta get like a little applause thing, like a little cheer thing. I looked for one, I couldn't find it, so we'll have to do that. But we did have another quick word with Levi because he wanted to expound on one of his answers. Yeah, there was one of his answers that he thought about, and he's like, "Hey, can I change that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So we got a couple of more minutes with newcomer of the year, Levi Remick.
Well, welcome back to Dart Talk, Levi. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you, Steve?
I'm good. Just wanted to officially congratulate you as Dart Talk's newcomer of the year. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We don't have trophies, but you're in good company. Last year's newcomer was Joe Huffman, and he had a pretty good year this year.
All right. Well, thank you.
Did it give you the chills?
I don't know if that's how I would describe it, but it makes me feel good.
Well, I'm happy for you. You were in some pretty fast company. We had a lot of good nominees this year. I understand you were rethinking who you wanted to nominate for most outstanding player.
Yeah, I think I want to go with Sawyer here.
With Tom Sawyer?
Yep. He not to be too much of a homer, but he's had a pretty good year himself, and he's actually helped me quite a bit this year. I've enjoyed spending some time with him. He's been a good friend. He's taught me a few things, and he also personally, as I got to know him, he's also helped me through a tough year. So I think he gets my vote.
Well, Tom's always been a an excellent player. I mean, I've only known him for a few years, but I always thought he represented the sport as well as anybody.
Yeah, and he definitely plays well, and I beat him all the time except at the AVO tournaments, which is nice.
That's a pretty fast company you got in your region. You've got Tom Curtin, Tom Sawyer, Dave Walsh, yourself, and I'm sure I'm leaving out quite a few people.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the things that I like best about where I'm from and where I live now. It's tough, and it really helps us all play better. And I know there's another region or two where it's kind of the same, but I think the players that are in those regions themselves really kind of get an upper hand, because you always get to play against players that are that good all the time, week in and week out, and I think it helps.
Well, Levi, congratulations again, and thanks for coming on the show. I hope you'll be a regular visitor next year. Let us know how things are going.
All right, thank you. I do listen to the show, and I will maybe I'll call in every once in a while or get on the chat room there.
Okay, thanks, Levi. Take it easy, man.
Thank you.
Okay, newcomer of the year, Levi Remick.
He sounded truly excited about that.
Well, he didn't say that he got a tingle, down his leg or anything.
Right.
But
I'm thinking though, if you guys go win the city championship today, maybe you could get the trophy and then somehow scribe his name in there, newcomer of the year, and then send it to him, and then he could have a plaque. Because you're not going to keep the plaque anyway, so.
I'm trying to remember if last year I made like some online certificates and posted them on their Facebook wall or something. I wish we had the money to like get little trophies and send them out, but next week is like outstanding player. You got Larry, Sawyer, Darren.
I'm sure they want a trophy or a plaque.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Talk.
I'm like, well, nobody else has one.
Well, that's true.
It's a one of a kind kind of deal. But we didn't give any last year, so it's kind of like somebody might feel slighted.
Well, that's all right.
Can you imagine somebody feeling slighted from us?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Oh. So
all
we
right,
need somebody to press the buttons. I forgot to put the camera on. Again.
Oh, I forgot to tell you to put the camera back on too.
We're not going to have time to do the odds. I did. Well, we looked through the entry list. 15 Americans
in the Dart World Soft Tip
in the Soft Tip World Championship. Right. And
when is that?
Well, it starts. It's the 16th, so it's
okay. A week and a half.
Yeah, week and a half. So not this weekend, but the following weekend. And the World Championship, the PDC one starts, and Paul Lim is playing in both.
Okay.
So I was looking at Paul Lim's bracket in the PDC World Championship, thinking, well, if he gets through his preliminary, he's got to play Van Gerwen, but Van Gerwen's never played him. Van Gerwen's like one of the hottest players in the circuit right now. So I was thinking, Paul's the kind of guy. He's got experience. He's played on stage. He threw like he was the first American to throw a televised 9-darter. Right?
I remember that.
And but the weird thing is, what if he has to play soft tip and then hop on an 18-hour flight to go play in England the next day? I mean,
that can't be easy.
Is that possible? Because I remember when John Part was playing in the Premier League and he was flying back and forth between England and Canada.
That's got to take a toll.
That's a long commute. I know people that complain that they got to go 30 miles on the freeway.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, 18-hour
people complain that they have to get up in the morning when they're staying in a hotel room. Oh, I got to play at 9 in the morning? Are you kidding me?
But I was thinking that a guy like Paul, who has all this experience, might be licking his chops, thinking, okay, this is my chance to really, prove some stuff.
Right.
Right? And I haven't seen him play steel since they had the U.S. Open in Connecticut 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, why do you think? So you think he's just?
He lives in the Far East, and there's nothing out there but.
No, so but why is he choosing to play in that?
Because the winner of the Soft Tip World Championship gets invited now into the PDC World Championship.
Oh, okay.
So, because he won it last year, he's in this year's World Championship.
Yeah.
But they run almost simultaneously, so unless the PDC is kind of like, okay, well, his match definitely has to be, the last possible day, which I think would be nice. If they don't do that and they're like, no, sorry, blind draw, you have to play the next day. You start scratching your head and you start being like, well, now, is this on the up and up? Everybody complains about draws and all this stuff, but yeah, I was going to say something. I heard something. Well, again, I don't know when we became the complaint department. So just from now on,
when
with your
people heard you complaining,
just put jackwagon in the subject so I can sort it with all the other things that people are doing. I'm going to have to run. I got to go play the city championship. This is.
You think we'll have some odds for next week? Because we'll have a show before this starts, so we'll come back with some odds.
I can post them before the show next week.
Okay. Right.
I'll post the odds for the PDC. I mean, there's no hurry. It's not for another. We can do it like before the next show, but I'll post them in advance and people can comment on it or what have you, because it's hard to do the odds for the Soft Tip World Championship because the people are in two groups and nobody's seeded yet. Right? Because they do this shoot-up thing the day before to determine
seed everybody.
Yeah. So I have to do odds based on the probability that you're going to do well in the shootout. So I have to go through all the other stages and look and see how everyone did at the shootout. So I promised that I would announce the winner of the Soft Tip World Championship today, but we'll wait until next week and I'll do it.
All right, sounds like a plan. Delaying something else till next week. We're good at that.
You're killing me, man. and these guys, he sent me a text at midnight saying, okay, we'll see you nice and early. And I'm like, you'll be lucky if I make it by 8. And he's like, okay, we'll see you at 8:05.
Right.
I mean, so they're really pressuring me to show up. And I'm like,
do they need you to play the first game?
I hope not.
I mean so what difference does it make?
My warm-up consisted of sound checks and, plugging in wires and stuff. I mean, now I'm
shouldn't matter if you don't show up until like 8:15. 9 o'clock.
Technically, you don't have to start till 8:15.
Right.
Isn't that the rule?
Yeah, that is
you
the
got
rule.
a 15-minute grace period.
But if you're not going to play the first leg and there's enough boards you can start warming up on while somebody else is playing.
Well, and that's the other thing. They used to have the finals on Sunday.
Yes.
Right, and they would make a day of it.
Right.
And the top division teams would always be like, well, we don't want to waste a Sunday doing this, so we're just going to do it on a Tuesday night. And now they're just doing them all on Tuesday nights. So I don't know if it's just us or if there's other teams there.
They're just doing it on the normal league night instead of
It's just so, like, you see darts going in one direction in New York.
Yeah.
And then you see the way darts are going here, and it just
opposite.
makes you want to
cringe,
go online and learn how to use Skype.
That would help.
Somebody said that. Well, I'm not going to go into all that stuff. What else did we not get to this week? I know we haven't done the cricket, but we'll be getting back to the cricket as far as that goes. I did want to say one thing that I thought was very cool, because the PDC did their draw this morning.
Yes.
And drew all the matches. And, I started looking at the brackets, and I think Darren's got a pretty good draw. He's playing Colin Lloyd in the first round, and, Colin's obviously a great player, but Darren should be comfortable playing him because he's played him before.
Right.
And, he knows him, relatively well, which didn't help him when he played Terry Jenkins, but and then waiting.
But you're just speculating here, so.
Well, yeah. Isn't that what Americans do when they get a microphone? Is like, let's just blindly speculate, what if, kind of thing. No, but his draw looked pretty good. He's got Colin, and if he gets by Colin, the next seeded player he'll see is Mark Webster, who's having about as bad a year as a guy can have. I mean, the guy's been like completely discombobulated all year long. I mean, his game is just nowhere near where it was like this time last year. So if that continues and Darren gets by Colin Lloyd, okay,
then I'll get by him.
It's getting easier, right? Because I'm pretty sure the betting public would have Colin Lloyd heavy over Mark Webster.
Okay,
which is if the seeds play out, that's the chalk. Those are the seeded. That's the bracket that Darren was in. So Paul Lim's bracket is not easy. He's got to play in against another guy from Malaysia or something that I've never heard of. I don't know who it is. So. And then, waiting for him is Van Gerwen, and I'm pretty sure Van Gerwen is like been eating his Wheaties.
Right.
Yeah. So that's going to be a rough one. But we'll publish the odds for both of those, and then we could talk about them next week as long as and then next week also we will
Outstanding Player of the Year.
Right. So, I mean, it's twice as many people, right?
Yes.
Because there's 3
Right.
women and 3 men.
Right.
So I don't know quite if we're going to be able to interview all 6 or not. We'll see if I can get everybody. If not, well, we'll get who we can. What else did we not do today? That's about it. What, you got anything?
No, good luck.
I just feel like I'm in a hurry.
Carry your team to victory. That's all I can tell you.
I have a feeling I'm going to play really bad, and they're all going to be shaking their heads like,
yeah,
we did better without them.
Well, maybe
I don't feel prepared to play, but whatever. We'll see what happens. Okay.
It's all right. You beat all these people you're going to play up against anyway. I don't think you're really too worried.
Who haven't I beaten at one time or another?
Oh.
I mean, everybody eventually. There's no undefeated dart players that I've ever met.
Right.
There's a couple of people that say they are, but they won't play for money. So, back with them. Lost my train of thought.
I think we're wrapping it up.
Done. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Sorry we're cutting it short. Thanks for understanding about the hours. I will post the audio and the video links as soon as I can for everybody. And for Mystery Mark, Steve Penuncielman signing off. We will dart talk to everybody next week. Thanks for listening.